You know, I like to say when I found April, you know, a football term, you know, I outkicked the coverage. You know what I mean? I scored big time. You know, what I'm going to talk to you about, and I'm going to shift gears a little bit, but here's one last point on what April was just sharing with you. All of that she was just talking about is still in our holding tank. That gets to continue in December. Because see, the last two people that came in the last day in November. The people are under them. You got a fresh 30 days. See, you can just keep it rolling. How entertaining would it get? And we're excited with this. Well, if that happened in November, and April's been working on this for over a year, okay? So this is something that's all coming together, you know, the way we had anticipated, but she had to learn how to do this. We didn't do business that way in our first company, okay? We just didn't do business that way, and it meant learning to use new tools. But who cares? Like she said, suck it up. What's the big deal? Learn to use some new tools, you know? It's, you know, the one thing great, you don't even have to see them or look at them if they did something nasty to you, you know? In the old days, Andy, you're sitting in front of them. It's like you got to bite your tongue sometimes when they make a puss, you know? Here, who cares, you know? So I want to talk to you about something a little bit different. You know, we get questioned a lot. April and I, and this happened in our first business too. And it was, you know, how do you guys do it? Like, you hit Pro 8 in 2 years. Most people take longer than that. I'll tell you, April and I, when we're talking privately, we think we suck. Okay, I'm telling you, and I'm not being funny or anything. We just only feel like we just kind of know a fraction of what can happen in this business, and we're starved for the rest of it. You know, we just want the rest of it. But there's some components that are innate in all of us, but most of us don't use them. I think they're God-given components. We're born with them, but we don't exercise them, okay? We just don't act on them. And this company in this pay plan, it encourages, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but I want you to understand where I'm coming from, especially after listening to Gabe a few minutes ago. It encourages complacency. See, in our other company, remember your first month when the new month started and it hit 0 and you freaked? Try living with that for 25 years. See, we didn't have a subscription business. We didn't have one, okay? And we did 200, our team, not personally, our team did over 200 million in sales in that company. April and I, to earn money in that business, you want to put things in perspective, for those of you to think 200's a stretch, or $40, how dare they ask me to personally buy something for $40? You know, I was going through my phone the other day, and I saw we had gotten a bonus check for $50,000 from the company. This is, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. You know what the check was for? We had just hit the $5 million mark in personal volume. Personal, not downline, okay? April and I had personally done $5 million, and they gave us a $50,000 check as a reward for doing that. Do you still think 40's a lot? You still think 200's a lot? Okay. So what I want to talk to you about for the next few minutes is your mindset. Because to me, it's everything. And Gabe knows, you know, we've traveled together and I'll get on a rant with him sometimes. And you got to understand, I'm 27 years of thinking, he's 10. So sometimes we're like in two different places, okay? It's like a 27-year-old talking to a 10-year-old, or you can be in a different place, and I'll go on a rant, and I see he's calculating, you know, like he hadn't thought about it that way before. And it's one of the reasons why we've been such good partners in the business, because they brought us up to speed as fast as they could with how LifeVantage works. And we feel we've been bringing something else to the table because we put the brakes on our experience when we came here. We didn't want to rely on what we knew that worked in the past. We wanted to learn how LifeVantage worked. And it's real easy to rely on your old reliable thing, isn't it? Don't you kind of, when you hit a hurdle, don't you just kind of go back to like what you were used to doing? And we didn't want to do that. So for our first 6, 7 months in the business, we went to every meeting we could. We watched every training we could. The meetings were great. We never saw the same one twice. We saw some of the worst meetings ever in the history of network marketing. I mean, really bad meetings. And the worse they got, the more excited we got. Because people bought the products anyway. And even if the person didn't share the information properly, the products worked anyway if they used it. And the more we saw, we said, wow, you don't even need to be talented here to make money. It's like, you don't have to be good in front of the room. You don't have to even be able to speak. You could talk like I do. I listen to Trig. I like Bob Trigley a lot. It's, you know, he makes me laugh, okay? But I can relate to him because April and I we have a high school education. We didn't go to college, but we're pretty street smart, okay? And we've learned a lot, you know, growing up the way we grew up. And there's some innate things that I want to share with you that you all have, but sometimes we get lazy with utilizing. We don't always put it to work, okay? We tend to rely back on the old reliable, like maybe your job. It's amazing how good that stinky job will look the first time you hit a hurdle or two in network marketing. It's like, oh, maybe that job's not so bad. You know, and you start making excuses. Well, at least I got one. You know, and you know, that I'm not happy with my pay, but it is paying the bills. Come on, am I the only one that thinks like that? We've all done that, okay? I've gone through it. Motion knows. We went through it with doctors for years and years. They complain, complain, and complain. You know, all of a sudden, well, you know, yeah, the insurance company did send you a check for 12 cents. What do you think about that? Well, it ain't so bad. That was just one check. You know, remember those days, Moshe? Okay, so here's your mindset is everything. And here's the mindset you need to have. And this ain't exclusive to Bobby and April, but this is how we work, okay? It must get done today, period. And I don't care if it's Thanksgiving, if it's Christmas, if it's New Year's, it's gotta get done today. No excuses. You say, what needs to get done? The business needs to get done today. You need to move your group forward. You need to add customers. You need to get that person started. You need to share that information. It needs to get done today. The business. Now, do you work that way? I mean, think about it. Can you give me the next slide? How do we do it? How do we get into that mindset where it becomes, it's like a reflex and you don't think about it anymore? See, that's where we are. It's just, it's like breathing. We don't think about it anymore. You just do it, okay? Well, you got to believe and have faith, but in what? Where does that start? Obviously, I can say in God, and that obviously is true. I'm talking business here right now, okay? Believe and have faith in what? That LifeVantage is a legacy company, okay? That not only is it a legacy company, it's a leader in our science. It's gonna be here for decades and decades and decades, okay? It'll create generational wealth. It's gonna be a multi-billion-dollar company. You need to think of LifeVantage as like an Amway or a McDonald's or a Ford Motor Company, or it's companies that you know are just gonna be here and be here and be here. Do you do that? Is that where you are? See, that's where we are, and we're only here 2 years. We don't have 10 years under our belt, or 8 or 6 or 5. That's just 2 years, but we are there. We believe in the leadership of the company. We believe in the products. We believe in the science. We believe in the pay plan to the point where we believe it's going to be here for decades and decades and decades. And we're going to get to leave it to our children and their children. Are you there? Okay. We need to believe that we'll change lives and help millions of people have a better quality of life. Do you believe that? See, millions of people, what, just with the products? No, with both. With the business and the products, with whatever they need. You know, when people ask me, they say, Bobby, what do you do for a living? My normal answer is this. I don't always say network marketing. Sometimes I say, well, I'm in a business where we help people do less of the things in life they don't like so they could do more of the things in life that they do like. And do you know anyone that would like to have some of that? See, that's a pretty regular answer for me, okay? So we're gonna change lives, but we gotta know in our hearts that this company is long-term. Now I'm getting ready to shock you with something, okay? But I want you to understand, do you believe it's long-term? Okay. The publicly traded part is a pretty good indication that it's going to be out there for a while, right? That's a pretty good indication. The fact that the pharmaceutical companies are still chasing and haven't gotten and are trying to, that probably tell you we're onto something pretty good, okay? Because they don't generally chase things they can't get, okay? They throw in billions of dollars in this direction. So give me the next slide. Oh, you did already, okay. So the key to success is this, and you gotta write this one down. You gotta know in your heart that LifeVantage is gonna be here forever. You ready? But you gotta work it like today is the last day. Today, December 7th, it's the last day. What do I mean by the last day? It's the last day that you can add to your business. It's the last day you can add customers, the last day you can add distributors, the last day you can rank advance. It's the last day, okay? Go back. That's all right. Okay, let me ask you something. Do you work it that way? Our house is pretty funny. I wish you could listen to some of the dialogue in our house between me and April. My office on the first floor, her office on the third floor. Sometimes I got to yell up, you know? Yesterday, it was... We had a kind of a tough couple weeks, and I was just kind of sitting there in my office, and I was kind of ready for happy hour. I was just kind of ready. So I yell up, and I said, you know, how about happy hour? I ain't done yet, okay? She didn't say no to happy hour. You know, it was 4 o'clock, you got to 7, you know? I ain't done yet. I still got a couple things to do. And I'm like, well, like, are you gonna finish in time? Yeah, I'll get finished in time. But, you know, she still had a couple more things on her list to do, okay? I love that about her. Because she knows that you gotta work it like every day is the last day. And we're programmed to do that. So when people ask us, what's different about how you do it, we have a no excuse every day is treated like it's the last day. Do you think if you worked it that way, you'd get better results? Man, you'd never put anything off. You'd never put, Andy was talking about the follow-up, you'd never put it off. If you really worked it like today was the last day, right? Give me the next one, Gabe. You know, we all face unexpected events in life, and you know, there's going to be times when other people need us and we get kind of shaken up a little bit. You know, we get life strikes. And that happened to me in April in the last couple of weeks. I lost my mom. And the reason I'm sharing that with you is it gave me a moment while April and I were in hospice with her. I had a moment to reflect. And the reflection was this. Everybody in the room would be with their mom in hospice if that were the case. There's no question in my mind. Everybody would do that. Everybody would take care of your dad if he was still there. There's no doubt in my mind. But not everybody would be able to do that and not give another thought to anything else going on in your life, like your job or your business. You agree? See, somewhere back in your mind, it's like, how am I going to take a week or two off? What's going to happen if I do it? Can they handle, will my business keep going if I'm the business, you know? And I can tell you, after just 2 years of being in the business with LifeVantage, I didn't give it a thought. And it was 10 straight days. And if you want to talk to someone about that, you talk to Moshe about that, because he knows how intense April and I are with building the business. Nothing. I mean, I didn't give it a thought because I didn't need to give it a thought, because it was running and functioning and doing what it was supposed to do. Now, the flip side of that, fortunately, my brothers and sisters are also in Florida, and we were kind of rotating in and out to make sure mom didn't pass when somebody wasn't there, okay? And my kid brother, who's been an absolute saint during this whole thing, he has a traditional business. He has a bakery where they make all kinds of breads, and he has bread routes where he delivers to everybody. Now, he's been a little stubborn over the years with listening to his older brother with some just business advice with get a backup system, have an emergency driver, have an emergency baker, just have some sort of backup system if something happens, or if, for Pete's sake, you want to take a vacation, you know, just something like have fun, you know. He didn't listen. And every single day, he had to figure out how to leave to make sure the bread was baked and get delivered. He had employees to worry about. He had a store to worry about. He had trucks and routes to deliver to worry about. And I'm looking at him and I'm saying, there was a time when I was there. Even in our old network marketing company, we played with big numbers. So April and I were involved in most transactions because we were dealing with $5,000, $20,000, $40,000 when people were getting involved in the business, and not everybody could handle those type of transactions. I thank God every day for LifeVantage, okay? Because that was just 2 years and not a worry in the world about it. Isn't that a business that you would want everyone to have? Forget you or me for a second. Who wouldn't want to know that they have the peace to go with the benefit? See, that's peace. That's when things in life take on their worst, the worst of the worst, you can still have peace. What's that worth? It's priceless. You just can't. So would that make you work it every day as if it's the last day? I can't tell you how energized we are to get December over and start the new year. Because here's what I'm going to close with this. Is there, I don't even know, is there another slide, or was that the last one? That's the last one? Okay, no, that's fine. One last secret for you with how April and I work. Nothing difficult, as I've already said, everybody can do it. But every year, when January 1st comes, we start fresh. That doesn't mean we ignore what we built, but in our own minds, we start over. Everything starts fresh again. We got to get fresh with recruiting again, fresh with developing again, fresh with this. Oh, and I know what the other thing was I wanted to talk to you about. You can't reinvent the wheel until you're working the wheel. And when we came to LifeVantage, here's what we did, okay? And we had never had a sponsor, and it's been a treat to have sponsors, okay? Because we went 26 years without one. And to know that there's help upline if you need it or want it, or just somebody to bark at when you're aggravated, okay? And it started with that. We weren't even hooked up and I was barking at them, okay? Because, you know, I had some frustrations over in Europe and it's getting better now. But here's the other key. Don't ever let a new person sign up in this business and do it their way until they do it the way that works. And then they can add their way. See, That was very important to us. We knew what we had done in the past, but we wanted to do it LifeVantage's way. So we learned how to do business the way you folks were doing business. Now, in the coming year or two, we're going to be adding in what else we can do in the form of doing it in other ways. See, we were the first to ever build a physician network in network marketing. We were the first to ever create a national fax program, a national radio program. We did all kinds of stuff that the industry never ever seen before. But we wanted to learn LifeVantage's way first, and then we would use our creativity to add to it, not replace it, enhance it. We got a lot of confirmation by watching one of the faster growing groups in the business with Tara and Rachel. We said, wow, I'm very impressed. They're growing faster than a lot of folks. And what they did is they came, they learned LifeVantage's way, and then they had marketing skills that they had learned in another business and then started to apply them. See, to me, that's being smart. You do what's working, and then if you got creative skills, you add it to the equation. And that's kind of what we're working on now. So let me ask you this. Can you work it? Not can you. Will you work it as if every day is the last day? See, we're so programmed to do it that way, we don't think about it anymore. But when someone asks, what do you do different? That's what we do different. We never take a single day for granted. And if I can share one thing with you, if you'll do that, 2020 would be the best year you ever had in the business. So, Gabe, I'm going to turn it back over to my buddy Gabe.